Welcome back to another episode of
Race Rats podcast with J and G.
That's how you know it's going to be a good week. She's coming out of her shell. We love it. She's like a little, butterfly coming out of the cocoon.
Getting in the swing of it.
You enjoying it so far?
Yeah.
Wait, no, this is episode 9 now.
Time flies.
Time
It
has
feels
flown.
like we just started, but
And we're not even halfway through the calendar.
that's exciting though. There's still so much to do, so much to see and talk about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We are obviously today we're talking about the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. We are filming this the week of my second home race, the Spanish Grand Prix. Mine, Fernando Alonso, and Carlos Sainz's home race. We've had quite a bit go on. Quite a bit. You know what? Canada was quite an interesting race, but also things have happened around it that have made the last week and a bit since Monaco quite interesting.
I don't know why, but Monaco feels like it was absolutely ages ago. Feels like it was weeks and weeks ago.
It's almost a month ago now.
What?
It's almost a month ago.
Almost a month ago.
Almost a month.
Wait, what was the last race?
Canada.
No, before that.
Monaco.
What?
Yeah.
Almost a month
But we
ago.
had
That's probably why it feels so long ago.
Yeah, we had a week between Monaco and Montreal.
Yeah.
And then we've got a week between Montreal and Spain.
Yeah.
So about a month.
Wow. I hate how time just goes so fast.
It's okay because now, as of this weekend, we have a triple header. So
Yeah.
we've got 3 in a row.
It's gonna be a lot. But it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. We go back to fun time zones too. So that's
Oh my god, we're gonna play arcade games at time zone? Can we play on a Mario Kart? They should have like a F1 racing game but at time zone. Although I'd be pretty bad at it. I'd treat it like Mario Kart and just
yeah, we've already learned this.
ram people off the road and wonder why I'm getting like penalty points.
Max Verstappen got in my way. Nobody asked.
He's in my way. I need to move him.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Anyways.
Anyway, yeah. So we'll jump straight into it. We'll start talking about the race weekend because there is quite a bit to talk about surrounding so much. I don't trust you with the audio.
I tried to be really gentle.
I don't trust you with
I just thought I knew it was gonna fall off that little antenna.
Fair enough. So it was definitely a different weekend to what we are used to. Canada is very unpredictable for the weather. Very often it is a wet race, which was no different this year. So, on and off. The rain comes on and off. Quite interesting that free practice 1. I don't understand why this happened. It looked like free practice 1 was going to get delayed because there was really heavy rain. The rain did stop by the start of free practice 1, and they had to dry the track out. They had to
How did they dry a track out? Did they just have like industrial plans?
Well, no, I mean the track dries pretty fast once there's sun on it, but also they had like pumps getting rid of the water that was on track. So it started on time, but it was yellow flagged and no one was allowed to leave the pits. Yeah.
For why?
Yeah, for 15 minutes. I think it was 15, 20. So the time was ticking down.
Yeah.
And no one could go out.
Do they have like a time limit of how long they can?
Yeah, free practice goes for about an hour.
Right, and then they're taking 15 minutes out of that time.
Yep.
Was there a solid reason for it?
Water on track, which at that point you should have not started. But yeah, anyway, I was a little disappointed because it was Jack doing FP1 for Alpine. He was doing his testing. And I think he only got like 1 or 2 laps in. Yeah.
Who's Jack doing again?
He is Alpine's reserve driver.
Right.
He is a very likely contender for the Alpine seat next year.
Where's he from?
Australia.
Really?
He's the Australian, yeah.
Yay.
So, big fan of doing. He's a very, very talented kid. Not so much kid. He's an adult now,
He's a
but
kid to you.
he's younger than me. He's a kid.
You
Yeah,
mean
he only
I'm a
got to do
kid?
about yeah, absolutely. He only got to do about a lap or two. And what is Pumpkin doing? Bad. Yeah, Jack doing FP1 for Alpine only got about a lap or two in.
That kind of sucks for him.
Yeah, it wasn't great for anyone that on because then it did start raining again midway through the session. It was just a whole thing. Because again, weather is unpredictable. It comes through. It is what it is. We did see a very beautiful top three after FP1. I posted it on the Instagram account story, on the Race Rats account story, of the best top three that it could have been for us. It was Lando Norris in P1, Color Signs in P2, Charles Leclerc in P3.
Wow, so perfect.
Yeah.
Love that.
If only the rest of the weekend continued that way.
Obviously, it didn't.
I'm so sorry.
Damn,
So
just
sorry.
disappointing me like that already.
So somehow, some way, Mercedes had a really good weekend.
Somehow, that's suspicious.
For the way that the season has gone so far for them, Canada was just the track for them. Apparently, it was not the track for other teams. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Well,
But
because one of the other teams did surprisingly well in Monaco, didn't they? Which team was that? I feel like it was Vicar maybe.
B Carb did.
Yeah.
And Pierre Gasly in the top
Yeah.
10. Get it, Gaz. That's my little French man. P2, the top three standings were Fernando Alonso, George Russell, and Lance Stroll. I'm not surprised to see Lance Stroll up there. That is his home race.
Oh, is it really?
He's Canadian.
I thought he was American. Whoops. Sorry, Lance Stroll. Didn't mean to insult you.
That's Logan Sargent. What the fuck is a kilometer? Is Sargent.
I just thought they were both American.
He's like,
that's my fault.
He is like very much Canadian.
Okay.
Very much Canadian.
I like him more now.
Fair enough. I have nothing bad to say about Lance Stroll. Surprisingly,
I like him. It's not me saying I don't like Americans. I just like him more because he's Canadian.
Valid. A lot of people don't like Lance Stroll. I do like Lance Stroll. It is what it is. Yeah, so it wasn't surprising to see him in that top. Obviously, it's a track that he's used to. It's going to be another episode of me yawning.
Stop it, otherwise you will make me yawn. Usually, I feel like it's me just sitting on the side, just yawning.
And now it's me talking.
Just like covering my face, yawning.
Honestly, vibes. FP3. Honestly, Stroll was in fourth for FP3, so again, not shocking to see him so high up in the board. The top three, though, 2 of 3, shocking. Just heard the name. Lewis Hamilton in P1.
Wow.
Yeah, Max Verstappen P2, George Russell P3.
Hamilton in P1 though, that's like big. He hasn't been
both Mercedes in the top 3.
But you weren't joking when you said Mercedes did well. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, wait till you hear about qualifying.
Yeah.
So qualifying. Before we do, we should have started with the gossip side of things. But I'll come back to another one in a minute.
Don't we usually finish with the gossip?
We do, but I need to talk about something before we go into qualifying. So ahead of the Canadian Grand Prix, it was announced, much to my dismay and with way too much hype for what it should have been, that Carlos Sainz was not going to Red Bull. I was not getting a Versailles reunion. I'm disappointed. I cried. I was really hoping for that Versailles pairing back from the Toro Rosso days. It is what it is.
Yeah, I remember that. It was quite disappointing because they kind of hyped up.
They hyped it up so much just to be like,
nope, sorry.
Checo Perez resigns.
But yeah, that's just
sorry. but it didn't need that. The reason I'm bringing this up now is Red Bull had potential to really give them a fighting team for next year and beyond. But they stuck with Perez because he was the safe option. And as they have now said, he doesn't threaten Max. He lets Max be Max.
But that's not letting him be his own driver.
Yeah, like obviously Max, the team's very much built around him now for good reasons. He's
he's
incredible.
a great driver. He's amazing.
But yes, they turned around and said he does. He lets Max be Max and he does his thing. That is not something a team fighting for the Constructors' Championship should be saying.
No, because you're fighting as a team, right?
The Constructors,
You're not fighting as one driver.
Verstappen can do what he wants. This year it's actually quite surprising. The field is closing in on that Drivers' Championship. Max is not as far ahead at this point as he was previous years, so it's very interesting to see what this year can hold. But the Constructors is team-based, and you should be, if you're wanting to win that, which they do, would you not think about, as a whole picture, not even just for Carlos, but looking at the field and seeing who could potentially bring you. Like, I know they wanted Norris, and Norris re-signed with McLaren because Norris will not leave McLaren because he wants to win. He wants to win WDC with McLaren.
Yeah,
that's his team.
Just fair.
But yes, they kept with Checo. And the reason I'm speaking about this is because going into qualifying, this is where it gets funny. In a not so surprising exit at this point, I feel like it just keeps happening. Checo out in Q1.
Really?
Again, Checo out in Q1.
The one who's just been re-signed?
Yep.
That Checo.
That Checo, yeah. That Checo. It was... Okay, so from back to front, first five out, Joe Granu, Nico Hulkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Valtteri Bottas, and Checo Perez. You know who wasn't in that list? Who, for another week, has out-qualified Checo Perez? You know who? I know who. Logan Sargent. That's my little Sargy. Thank you. I love it. I think he deserved it. Yeah, Logan Sargent once again out-qualifying Checo Perez.
Wow. Good on him.
Over somebody who's looking like he's not going to have a seat next year. That's quite sad.
Is that so?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What team's he with at the moment?
Williams.
And not re-signing him?
It's not looking good.
Jeez.
It was a shock that they re-signed him this year. I'm glad they did. But yes, it's not looking good for him. But for another week to be out qualifying a top team's contender who just re-signed their seat is quite funny to me. Next five out being, unfortunately for me, Pierre Gasly. But he made it to Q2. He made it to Q2.
I was happy.
I was proud of that. Pierre Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, Logan Sargent. You're going to want to hold my hand for this one. Out in Q2. Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc.
Oh, no.
When I say that Mercedes did well this week, Ferrari did not.
Wow, okay, you waited to drop that one on me.
Yeah.
That's devastating.
Yeah, they were devastated. Charles Leclerc, sorry to Leclerc fans, threw quite the tantrum about it.
Oh, really?
Quite the tantrum.
That would be
in the
funny.
media pen, his media officer obviously was telling him things he can and can't say. He turns around while the camera and speakers are on him and goes, "It's fine, I'm just going to say what I want."
Whoa.
Oh, we get sassy Leclerc back. We get sassy Leclerc back. I'm down for this.
Is there a reason that he didn't qualify? Like, what happened?
The car just didn't have pace. The car did not do well in Canada.
It's the same car. Like,
it didn't do well in Canada.
didn't like the roads or the weather, or
Why did Mercedes do well?
maybe the car's built better for that kind of condition.
Yeah, that's. I guess we'll see with Spain, because I know that Ferrari do have upgrades coming in Spain, so we'll see how
Ooh,
that goes.
upgrades.
Oh, something I didn't mention while I look at my notes is Joe Granu into a wall in FP1 and FP3. Not
Trying
right.
to make friends with the wall.
Stop kissing the wall. And I don't even think it was the Wall of Champions that he did it in.
Oh,
So fun fact for you, because obviously this being your first year,
yeah.
the final corner, I think it's the final corner.
One corner.
One of the ones near the end. I'm pretty sure it's the final corner. In the Canada track, it's called the Wall of Champions because so many big names have clipped their car there as they've come around because of track conditions and the way the wall is, like the way the corner is. So it is known as the Wall of Champions.
Probably like a bit of an honor to do that.
To clip it there, yeah, right?
Yeah, if you're gonna clip your car,
Max
that's the corner.
Verstappen came within like a few millimeters to that wall, if I remember correctly for this one. But yeah, both Williams got into Q2, which was lovely to see.
Now you've got me yawning.
You're welcome.
I didn't say thank you.
Oh, I did. So top 10 from back to front. This is going to be an interesting one. As in like 10 to 1.
Yeah, okay, got you.
After Q3. Look at, oh.
Yay!
So proud of him.
Snaps.
Oh, there's Adam. Adam Norris.
Adam.
So he's such a proud father. Yeah, so 10 to 1. Alex Albon. Lance Stroll. Yuki Tsunoda for another week
in that
top 10. We love that for Yuki. Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso. In 5th place, Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh, wow.
And I'll come back to that in a second. 4th, Oscar Piastri. 3rd, Lando Norris.
Wow.
2nd, Max Verstappen.
2nd.
1st, George Russell.
Wait, what? George Russell.
George Russell.
Best.
Which, funnily enough, I'll show you the photos after. He did his iconic T-pose on top of the car.
Yes. Oh, I think I saw something about that.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Love that T-pose.
So yeah, iconic. George Russell, pole position. But interestingly enough, the time he set for his lap to get that pole position to the millisecond matched by Max Verstappen, that hasn't been done since 1997.
Like an absolute match in time.
Yep.
Wow.
To the second, to the millisecond.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the time was matched though, like how does
George got it first.
So he was just like ahead, but
so the way qualifying is it's by lap times. So
yeah. So they're not So I got you.
George set that time first. He got that pole position. But yeah. To the second.
That's wild.
And Lando was not far off.
It shows you how close it is though, like with the timing, like milliseconds.
Yeah. But Lando being that close is quite impressive as well. Daniel Ricciardo in 5th was something I loved to see and see him do so well this weekend, because being the Canadian Grand Prix, a certain ex-racer was invited to do commentary. I think I only heard him the first day, and I'm so glad I only heard him the first day, because if I had had to hear him any other day, I probably wouldn't have watched it. And that's saying something. I'm not going to name names, but if you listened, you knew. A certain ex-Canadian racer was there. And this ex-Canadian racer, yeah, you're allowed to cry about this. I cried. I didn't cry. I got angry, cried. This certain ex-Canadian racer really does not like Daniel Ricciardo. And I had to listen to him do commentary through FP1. And a conversation was had about Daniel Ricciardo's special helmet for the weekend. And I thought it was quite a cute helmet.
Mm.
It was this cute little it had like maple syrup dripped over it.
Oh,
He had his
cute.
iconic honey badger on the back of the helmet, but it was dressed as a Canadian Mountie cop. So it was like in the little like Mountie gear.
Oh,
So
that's
cute.
pretty cute. I
It
like
also
that.
had an iconic band's sticker on there.
Yeah.
Alexis on Fire. Really, really old emo band. If you know, you know. They are Canadian, and yeah, that
That's so
sticker was a
cute.
tribute to a really, really old helmet that he had as well.
I don't know that band. Maybe it's before my
Daniel
time.
was a former. I think he still is. Probably, I say former emo because he's a cowboy now.
Really?
But dude, he's got a Parkway Drive tattoo. I think he's a
Really?
massive
Wait,
Parkway Drive fan.
when was he born? Is he a millennial?
He's older than me.
Probably
I don't
still a
know.
millennial. Like that's still like
Yeah, he's
40s.
massive Parkway Drive fan.
That's so cute.
Yeah, he's been on stage with them.
What?
Yeah,
No
funny, love
way.
it. That's my favorite
Okay, he
crossover.
has good taste.
Yeah, right. Now you get my love of
Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo.
I never realized he was an elder emo.
He's an elder emo. Yeah, he's an elder Australian emo. Even better. Um, So yes, and they were talking about the helmet, and this person, who I'm not going to name because they don't deserve, started just absolutely yapping shit about how Daniel should focus more on racing rather than helmet designs, and how most racers should, you know. And there was a female commentator who was basically like, yeah, but like these days, um, the drivers are seen a lot more off track. Like they do have a very big online following.
Yeah.
Their personality is very much shown off the track. This is a way to bring their personalities to the track for them. It's a bit of
Yeah.
fun for them. It's a bit of fun for the fans. And he turned around and basically said, you should be focusing more on the racing than their helmets. And she tried to say, well, we can do both. I'm saying from a fan's point of view, we do
Yeah.
enjoy the helmets,
That
but
makes no
you can
sense.
enjoy both. You can still follow the racing, but enjoy a helmet. And he
Yeah.
kept just shutting her down and speaking over her and belittling,
Oh, I love that.
constantly belittling women's interest in motorsport.
Because women can only be interested in
Hot
pretty
men.
helmets and hot men and not actually in the driving and the cars themselves.
I've said it a million times before on this podcast. I love how Carlos Sainz looks when he drives around that track. I love how Lando Norris looks when he drives around that track. He looks so hot under that helmet when he's going
But you can't
at
see the
the
face
high
or
speeds.
can't see your face, can't see
He
nothing.
looks
They're in
so
their
good. He
fireproof. They're
looks so good.
so good. That's just ridiculous.
I
Like,
sit there at 4 a.m. watching that because I think the man is hot. Yeah, make that make
and then
sense.
you can't even see.
Yeah,
Yeah, that really
if I ever
really
catch
gets on
that
my
driver,
nerves.
it's on site.
Cause
On site.
like it's you're allowed to have like your personality and your aesthetic like interests
Yeah.
displayed on a helmet. Like, why not? It's not hurting
I've said it
anybody.
before.
I'm sure.
Lando Norris and his helmets, they eat. He's
Yeah.
because that's a passion of his, is designing things like that.
Hmm.
It's something he's really good at. So yeah, he's gonna bring special helmets like every so often.
And I'm sure
So is Daniel Ricciardo, so are the other
it
racers.
doesn't take any time out of their thought process of actually doing the racing and the driving. Like I'm sure it doesn't. It's not like while
They
they're
send their
racing
most
they
of them
think,
send
"Oh,
their
I hope
ideas.
everyone likes my helmet while I'm driving." Like
No,
no.
and they post about it before the weekend, like or like at the start of the weekend during media day and that, being like, "Oh, special helmet." They're not sitting there being like, "All right, getting in the car for FP2, look at my helmet again."
Yeah.
No,
Like,
we look at those helmets while they're racing because it honestly, I think the work that goes into them is incredible. It's beautiful, and it's something that should be paid attention
and
to.
it's also nice to see drivers as people with personalities rather than just the people driving the cars, because I feel like you can kind of become detached from that and just think like a name and a car and a number and a place in that. But when they have like their personalities and their interests shown on their helmet, it can make you just like feel a kinship with them. I think that's really cute as well.
Yeah, that's why I say it. I think it's wonderful. But yes, this guy just kept yapping, and if I ever catch him, it's on site. But the reason I bring this up is because, as I said, he has a deep-rooted hatred for Daniel Ricciardo. He will take any excuse to shit talk Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo said, "Eat shit." I'm not joking. In media pen, when he found out about this,
so
literally he
great.
turned around at the end of it and went, "Yep, eat shit," and
Such
walked
a good
away. So
response.
this was Daniel Ricciardo's "fuck 'em all" moment. FEA, and yeah, he did really well.
I
He
love
needed that
that.
kick up the ass.
You know, that's like, you know, he's an Aussie when he's not phased by it. He'll just say it how he
He
sees
knows
it.
this guy yaps shit about
He's
him all
like,
the
yeah,
time, and
whatever.
he knows that everyone thinks this guy is a fucking
He's a
moron
tool, yeah.
for it. That is what it is.
I don't even know who this guy is, but I don't like him already.
I never liked him, and every time I have to hear his grating voice, you're 50, you're bald, leave Daniel Ricciardo alone.
Yeah, and you're an ex-racer. Like, get over it. Your heyday's over. Stop trying to
not again.
stay
Not
in
gonna
the.
say who it is. But don't ask how Daniel Ricciardo is still in the sport if you left the sport because you walked away from your team while you threw a tantrum about how you saw your future in the sport going because they got somebody in to do a free practice instead of you.
Of course, it was a tantrum.
That is what it is. Anyway, moving on because it doesn't deserve the time of day anymore. On to the race. It was interesting. It was definitely interesting. Wet track at the start because it rained just before. It had stopped raining. Most of the drivers, and when I say most, I mean all but two, went out on the intermediate tires.
All but two.
All but two. They go out on intermediates. Actually, no, they might. You know, it started intermediates. Yeah. Two went out on wets,
Okay.
which was the smarter move. Smarter move. And the team that did such.
I'm guessing, was it Mercedes?
No, it was Haas.
Oh, what?
You know you fucked up your strategy when Haas has it right. Anyway, this saw the Haas. I have to move my knees. This saw the Haas boys climbing up the pecking order real fast because everyone else didn't quite get the grip that they wanted, while Haas was like, "Excuse me, coming through."
I don't get that strategy though. If they know the track is still wet, why?
Intermediates,
like wet and dry,
but it was still way too wet.
Yeah,
it
if
was
it's that wet, you can start on wet tires, right? And then on your pit, change to intermediate or dry or something like that, depending on how the track's looking.
Yeah, like if you look like there's gonna be rain again, you know, it's a whole thing. Yeah, Magnussen ended up at like up in like fourth at one stage.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how funny this was to watch. They were zooming. I was like, this is all right.
This is interesting.
Love this. So yeah, when it came to the race, what do we have? We had Daniel Ricciardo.
You're twiddling your toes.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm not supposed to talk about this because of what happened a few races ago. Daniel Ricciardo was noted for jumping the start.
Wait, didn't that happen?
No, it didn't happen. Lando didn't jump the start, remember? No more investigation.
It didn't happen.
Lando didn't jump the start. Daniel Ricciardo didn't jump the start. Anyway.
Suspicious.
By lap 4, Kevin Magnussen had made his way up to fourth. So that was about 10 places from where he started. He'd made up 10 places.
Jeez, that's good.
Lap 5. I have a lap by lap right now, by the way. Lap 5, Leclerc. Hold my hand for a sec. Leclerc reports engine issues.
Oh. Oh.
Lap 5. Lap 6, Logan Sargent clipped the wall. And Hamilton went straight on turn 2.
Hamilton went straight.
When the guys, I shouldn't have stopped there. It's Pride Month.
Yay.
We remember Brosadies in this month. Yeah, he went straight on at turn 2.
Straight on a.
We leave it.
Why is that so funny?
21, Norris passes Verstappen for P2. 22, Norris passes Russell for race lead.
Oh, wow.
Lap 25, there was a safety car.
Oh. What happened?
Sargent hit the wall.
Oh. Stop twiddling your toes.
Makes me sad. Also lap 25. Unfortunately for me, Lando Norris just missed the pit entrance when the safety car was called. So that would have been a free pit stop. This would have been a good time for him to pit. Imagine your issue being that you were too fast. Because that was Lando Norris this weekend.
Wow.
That yeah.
sucks.
So he missed the pit entry and it's stuck behind the safety car.
Yeah.
Lap 26, Verstappen, Russell, and all the others pit. Lap 27, Norris pits, but loses the lead to Verstappen, obviously, at that stage because he was a lap ahead.
Yeah.
Lap 32, Albon overtook two cars at once.
Wow.
One being Daniel Ricciardo. Very, very smooth move. I was really impressed with that work because it was a smooth overtake. Two at once. And, like, I'm not talking, like, going through the middle of them. I mean, they were like this, and he just kind of snaked through them.
Wow, that's
like a
cool.
Slithery little snake, Albon.
A snake.
Just
a question. When they pit, does the driver have any say in what kind of tires?
Well, it's usually before they pit that
they communicate how the car's handling and all that.
Yeah, and they confirm. So they generally have a code because other drivers, like other teams could be listening in, that kind of thing. So it'll be like, oh, strategy A or strategy blue or something like that. Different teams have different strategies.
Like when you're on a cruise ship and they say code blue and it means something like that, someone's died or something.
So before the race, they've come up with different strategies between the engineers and the drivers, given them the different codes so they can be like, okay, we're going to run strategy F today, which, Ferrari generally get to like strategy Z by the end of that race. Yeah, they have different ways to go about it of like, yep, so we're going to go strategy this with this.
Wouldn't want to mess it up and get the wrong one.
Yeah. Well, obviously the engineers also are going to be like, are you sure? Like, you're not, and then
confirm,
pretty much. So it's very much they're given, like, they to a point have the decision in their own hands. Lap 41, Gasly was the first to go back on slicks to, other than Leclerc. Like, he was the first one because a few were going to try it. It was really funny listening to the commentary because as he's coming out of the pit, the commentator made a comment of, oh yeah, Gasly's going hard, we're going to see how those go for him. Yeah, he slid first corner coming out of there, and they went, we saw how that came. It was 15 seconds.
We saw immediately
how that went for him. Not great. Lap 43, Leclerc retires.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Dagger to the heart.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, lap 43, Leclerc, DNFs. There was too many issues with the car. He was not happy. There's engine issues. They were so far behind. Is
that why he had the tantrum?
Well, that was before, but he did also have a tantrum after this. It was quite okay. I saw a video because obviously when you're racing, you don't get to see all the cars at once. And I knew how far behind Leclerc was from the pack, but seeing an actual video from someone at the track of just how big the gap was insane.
That's pretty out of character for him, though.
Yeah.
It's usually consistently, like...
The car was not performing this week for either of the Ferrari drivers. Neither of them were happy. I did... So, you know how last week I spoke about the track graphics and how you can see where they are on track, and we were joking about Monaco and how there was a T-pose George Russell between them. That one, that graphic. Yes. So I saw my favorite thing that came out of it is a TikTok of this one where it's got everyone up on the track, and then it's the audio of "Wait for me, I've got little legs," and it's Leclerc like really far behind. Yeah, it is me. Leclerc was just pulling a me. It's so fine, guys. Don't worry, we're going back to normal next week.
Yeah.
But yes, unfortunately, he retired.
That's sad. I don't like that.
Lap 53. Checo Perez crashed.
Uh-oh.
And got a big fine for this because he had to retire.
Yeah.
But the damage to the car should have just been a stop right there.
Yeah.
Safety car, get it off the track. He drove it back to the pits.
Oh, okay, that's...
Which was a massive hazard for all the other drivers.
It's just silly there.
Well, it was team strategy because they didn't want Verstappen to lose the lead. If a safety car, because a safety car would have been called for it, Verstappen could have lost that lead. Very, very easily could have lost that lead. They would have caught him. So, to avoid that, they just got Perez to drive back to the pits, which ended up in a massive
made
fine
him
for them.
get a fine.
Well, the team got a
The
fine. Team got a fine.
I don't think that's good strategy either.
No,
to
it was
be honest.
really stupid. No one was happy about it. Also lap 53. I'm going to hold my own hand for this one. Sainz and Albon collide. Albon retires.
Don't cry. It'll be okay.
And a safety car gets called in lap 54. Carlos Sainz. I'm crying. Carlos Sainz retires. So just to note this down to everyone. Yeah, I need my hand held now. To note this down to everyone. Double Williams DNF. Double Ferrari DNF.
Oh, that's so...
I did also get the okay, so he ended up on the grass, and he was trying to get out, and he was just spinning. And lap 70, we heard the Dutch anthem because Max Verstappen won again. But
good job, Max.
Very, very close by was Lando Norris. My favorite thing at the moment is how well that McLaren is performing, how well Lando is performing. And I hope Max is scared because Max, there's a man in the woods, and his name is Lando Norris. He is chasing.
Oh,
he is chasing. This is the year. This is the year. I'm very proud to have my number 4 necklace that I clutch.
Like your pearls.
Like my pearls for dear life every week. Because, get it. One thing I didn't mention, because I forget what lap it was on, was there was 5 DNFs in the race.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. You are correct. The 5th was no, I did say them all. Never mind. I thought Joe Granu went off as well. No, he almost went. So yes, we had a Red Bull, 2 Williams, and 2 Ferraris, making 5 DNFs in one race. If I had one more, I was going to be able to cross off one of my bingo ones. Oh, bingo squares.
Is your bingo for 6?
More than 5 in a single race. I was almost there. Almost there.
So close.
But yeah, as I said, very, very dramatic race. So much went on. The fact that there was a Mercedes on the podium, crazy work. The fact that both Ferraris DNF'd, crazier work. The
Big
devil works
work.
hard. Toto Wolff works harder.
He's been strategizing and working
You've been listening to Carlos Sainz talking strategy on that radio a bit too much. Let him have a break.
Using that handsome brain of his.
Handsome brain. So yes, as I said, Max Verstappen winner, Lando Norris second, George Russell third. Fastest lap did go to Lewis Hamilton.
Wow. Good job.
For a 1:14.8, yeah. Fastest pit stop went to Ferrari for a 2.21, which is quite slow, but in the conditions, I guess fast. It's not slow, it's decent time, but like compared to what it usually is at the moment, yeah. Driver of the day, give it up for my man Lando Norris again.
Wait,
driver of the day.
Wow.
He got voted driver of the day again. And I just want to note as well with this, Lando is the only driver to have collected points every race this season. He's been in the points every race this season.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's about 7 points, if I remember correctly. He's 7 points away from Charles Leclerc right now in the championship standings. So if he does better than Leclerc next race, he can overtake that and be second in the standings. And that's quite close to Verstappen as well. So Lando's in it to win it.
He's getting
This
there.
could
He's
be the
making
year
his way.
that he gets that WDC with McLaren. As a Lando fan, thank you, Canada. As a Carlos fan, fuck you, Canada.
So Canada, you're kind of like, you're on thin ice.
You're on thin ice. Barely holding on thin ice.
Yeah.
So because we've concluded the track talk, let's talk a little bit gossip. Because
Gossip time.
when I say gossip, that's a very broad term because it's more things that have been announced.
Chatter.
But this week I do have a bit of gossip. So as I said, Checo Perez re-signed with Red Bull. There was another re-signing that was announced right before a session, and that is Yuki Tsunoda staying with VCARB for another year.
Oh wow!
I get another year of Yuki.
Yay!
I get another year. I'm happy. Another year of Yuki.
What
I'm
about
not complaining.
What about Ricardo?
It hasn't been announced yet. There's a lot of seats that haven't been announced yet still.
Because Yuki and Ricardo have kind of had a bit of their differences this season.
Yuki has very much been outperforming. Yuki's been outperforming the car, honestly.
Yeah.
So
needs a better car.
Absolutely.
Give the man what he needs.
In saying this, that does leave one seat left with VCARB, and that is one seat left with Red Bull as a whole.
Yeah.
Now, there is another driver who has a contract with Red Bull, who is in their contract. It does state a 2025 seat with Red Bull somewhere. So it could be the seat Ricardo holds, but Ricardo also holds a long contract with Red Bull. I don't know the specifications of it, but yeah, it's not great. It's now come out that this driver, Liam Lawson, I don't need to not name him, Liam Lawson, if he does not get this 2025 seat with Red Bull, with obviously he's not getting the main team, but if he doesn't get this VCARB seat, he's allowed to walk away from his contract.
Really?
He has a break
clause. With which team, sorry?
Red Bull.
Wow.
As a whole. So both their teams. So it's looking like if he doesn't get that seat, he's walking away from Red Bull. And he doesn't want to. He's been with that team for a long time. It's not great, though.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But yes, another year of Yuki, which we love. Esteban Ocon, I think we spoke about last time. Yeah. No longer going to be with Alpine.
Do we know where he's moving? Or if
nope,
he's moving?
Nothing's been announced. As I said before, Jack Doohan is looking a very high contender for that seat. It's looking like it's going to be a Doohan-Gasly pairing, which they do work very well together, so I wouldn't mind that at all, as much as I want Gasly out of Alpine, because Alpine's just not performing. It's what it is. Gossip, though. Now, I told you before we started filming that there was something I haven't told you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wanted to tell you while we were recording, because I want your raw reaction to what I say.
Okay, I'm ready.
Now, I am not a person who, on here at least, will talk about WAG gossip.
Yeah.
Because it's not relevant. I like following it personally a little bits of it off the podcast, because I think a lot of it's quite funny, of the absolute mockery that gets made of this. The stuff that gets made up is quite hilarious. I also have my own opinions on certain relationships and how they don't seem genuine. Let's keep it at that.
Strong opinions. Strong
opinions. But there is a certain driver and rumored PR girlfriend that hasn't been confirmed, but there's been a lot of sightings of them. So this is, it is that have something happened over the last week. Not sure what, but it looks like there was two options. He either blocked her or she went through and removed all her likes and comments from his photos. Mind you, they did not follow each other. We've known about this for a while. They don't follow each other, but they would
But they
still
were
like
like
each other. And suddenly all of her
comment.
likes left his account. And it came out that the only way that happens is if she manually does it herself or he had blocked her. Because if you block someone, all of their likes and comments on your account go. And yours still stay on theirs, but all of theirs on yours go.
But to go through every single post to find every like and comment you found would be a lot of work.
You'd think so. There was still a like on a post F1 had made about him, and then it got called out that was still there, and then suddenly that also went. So that one definitely was manual. She did that one herself. So everyone thought that he had blocked her. In the last 24 hours, or 48, he was seen out in Monaco again, partying with other girls, which I love because I love his little frat boy era. I'm not going to name names. I think we know who though. I love his frat boy era. I love it. I love party boy era. I'm in my healing era every time I see that. So obviously everyone's like, oh, she's not gonna be happy about this. No wonder, he's definitely blocked her, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly he started liking her photos again, and everyone's like, this is a clown show. Anyway, so either he's unblocked her or I don't know. Well, they've been
told to
fix
appearances.
Yeah, considering he was seen out with other girls. Yeah. So that's like a whole thing. She's also been hinting on her TikTok with reposts of like ending situationships and all this it's a whole thing. Yeah. There's also drama between her and another confirmed wag, someone we actually know of and I like a lot, who used to be friends. Now it's a whole thing, but the confirmed wag has been reposting things very much pointed towards this woman, in a negative light. It's been funny. But the reason I bring this up isn't to talk about this driver and the rumored wag. The reason I bring this up actually involves me.
Involves you.
Involves me. So another very high profile wag, very well known one. Things have come up, and again, I'm not saying names because I want to keep
professionalism.
But if you know, and if you were around this week, you know. Her and her family have been very much called out for some very questionable behaviors and things that they have done.
Right.
She made a post the other day talking about all the online hate she's been getting and how it needs to stop and how, the online world is very cruel. And her driver partner immediately commented on the post once it was made. And it was this whole spiel about how the hate needs to stop. It's so terrible. And I feel like if I say what I'm about to say from this comment, I mean, if you know, you know. But I feel like if you don't know, when I say what I'm about to say, you're going to know who. But how they know what's right in their little family and how he loves her. Now, this driver has never spoken like this before. The entire comment didn't seem like anything he said before. Very much seems like her. That's a whole other story. He has never referred to them as his little family in the years they've been together. So it was a whole thing. And immediately everyone was like, that comment seems off. Yeah, that's not him. Sus. Like, we've seen how he comments. We've seen how he speaks. That's not him commenting that. That's her. And even quicker than this, I'm talking like this all unfolded within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It came out that this driver was playing COD at the time. He was actively playing COD. He was not in a lobby. He was actively playing COD at the time.
When the comment was made. Yep. So it was absolutely, definitely not.
So then, this is where it gets fun. Obviously, people were then commenting on this post being like, he's literally playing COD right now. He did not post this.
Ain't him.
And she started blocking everyone that said this.
What?
Right? So this became funny. And I came about this because, as I said, I like following the gossip every so often. I follow it on my private account. Yeah. I follow a few gossip accounts on my private account just because I like seeing the funny clownery that gets said sometimes. So it absolute tomfoolery. Thomas foolery, if you may.
Foolery. The second.
And obviously these accounts started reporting on this, so I'd seen the post being like, "Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny."
Interesting.
So I, being the little smartass that I am, because I can't help being a menace, I drafted a response to this driver's comment, and I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to my group chat, and I said, what if I just said this? And they all said, do it right now. And I'm not a person that backs down from a bet. You know this. I'll dare. You dare me, I'll do it. I don't care. So I did it. I didn't get blocked for 48 hours.
Well,
but this is where it gets funnier.
for
I'm not
48
done. I'm
hours
not
is
done. I'm
something.
not done. I'm not
Okay,
done.
okay.
It gets better. So, obviously, I survived the purge. I survived her purge for 48 hours,
You
right?
were safe.
I was like, my comment has gone under the radar. It looks supportive of
Doesn't
her gamer
understand it
boyfriend
yet.
agenda. I've won. No. 48 hours it took. She'd been active too. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
so she'd seen it.
And
She just
funnily
didn't
enough,
comprehend it.
yeah. Suddenly, I was soft blocked. Now, for those that don't know the concept of soft blocking, it is a term that was coined because of the app formerly known as Twitter. Because unlike Instagram, there is no remove from following option. So on Instagram, you have the thing where you can just remove them from following you.
Yeah.
You know, X does not have that. So the concept of soft blocking is when you block someone and then unblock them, so they're no longer following you. But
Right,
like, it's not like a harsh thing. Like now, Instagram, obviously, you have the option to remove. Now, when I say this driver's wag had been blocking people, I mean hard blocking.
Yeah.
Straight up blocking, cannot see her account anymore. I can still see her account. I'm just no longer following.
But you were. Before.
I was before.
Yeah.
So you might think, oh, I was just removed. Except, as I mentioned before, learning from another wag issue this week, when you are blocked by someone, your likes and comments on their posts are removed. They're gone. All of my previous post likes were gone.
Oh.
All of my comments gone. I was soft blocked by a wag.
Because you called them out. Yep. Okay, but to be honest, if you're getting all upset about this online hate, like that's the internet. You're gonna get hate.
Also, don't say that your family didn't do these things when there's literal proof that your family did these things. That's a whole other story, though. We don't talk about that. But yes, this is the only time I will bring up wag gossip on this podcast, and it's purely because I was involved in the drama this week.
That is so wild.
Yeah, that's the end of this episode. I don't think there's anything else to say.
Other than predictions for next.
Predictions for next race, yeah. So my second home Grand Prix, the Spanish Grand Prix. Yeah.
Where's it at in Spain?
Madrid? Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Barcelona. What do you think? Who do you think? Who do you think's going to perform well?
I'm hoping Carlos, because home race.
And this makes me want to cry a little bit. It's his last home race with Ferrari.
Oh, that's a bit sad. Yeah.
On site Ferrari, still.
Is there any like team that are like Spanish teams? No. Sad.
No.
Yeah, I'm really hoping maybe a Carlos Sainz win.
Carlos Sainz supremacy.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. I think it would be good to see Mercedes keep their
And that's our friendship over.
I'm sorry. I like Lewis Hamilton and I like George Russell. And you like Toto, so
I like Toto.
I don't know if I wouldn't say I like the team, but I would like to see like one of them. I don't dislike the team. Maybe one of them in the podium or at least in the points, maybe. It'll be nice to see Yuki in the points again as well. I'm kind of hoping for that. Maybe Ricardo as well, doing well. Yeah, I don't really have any predictions. More things I'm hopeful for. What about you?
Again, I'm excited because it's home race. I would like to see Color Signs win. I would like to see Lando up on that podium with him. I'd like to see Fernando Alonso do well, being his home race as well. But he's in Aston Martin. We don't know how well it's going to go. I would like the biggest thing I would like from this week actually is for my goddamn driver to announce he has a contract for next year.
Yeah, that would be nice.
In his home Grand Prix. So he has said he was on a Spanish show again yesterday, and he has now said that all the teams that still have a seat available have obviously been in contact with him. All the teams were in contact with him originally. Mercedes is still very much pushing for Kimi Antonelli to be in that seat, which I still think is a bad move. I, at this point of the options that are left, would like to see Carlos, I want to say in the V-Carb seat, because then he's back with Red Bull still and the potential to move up to that main team. But I don't see that happening, unfortunately. I would like to see him with all the teams that are left of the unfortunate. No offense. I'd kind of like to see him with Williams. I didn't want to at first.
Yeah.
But things are looking promising for them with the new Mercedes engine that they'll be getting next year.
Against that at first.
I was very against it at first. But my biggest thing that I've realized is Williams are very fan focused.
Yeah.
They do a lot of fan activations. And do a lot of things for their fans. So as a Carlos fan, I think it would be nice to be able to have that step closer.
Yeah.
And that's why I've kind of accepted that it could be a Williams thing.
It might turn out really well.
It might turn out really well for him. But it also means in Melbourne next year, if they do the fan activation that they did this year, where you got to meet the drivers,
that gives you a good chance to
meet Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, that would be fun. Who else is anyone else signed for Williams?
Yes, so Alex Albon, just before Monaco, we spoke about it.
Yeah.
He has re-signed with Williams, so it would be a Williams, Sainz, Albon pairing.
Nice.
Yeah. Nothing else.
No.
I have one more thing I want to say, and you can't be mad about it because he's been racing this week. But Arthur Leclerc, in GT3 with Scuderia Baldini, not only did they take pole position, but on race day, won. Yeah, there we go. I get my Arthur Leclerc minute, and she actually supports me for one. We support Arthur Leclerc on this page. One of it, no, you know what? We support the Leclercs on this page. I'm just the Arthur girly, and she's the Charles girly.
Doesn't mean I don't hate you, Arthur. Don't come for me.
It's so funny. It's so funny. But yeah, that's the end of another episode. We'll see you next week. Next week. Oh my god, because it's this week that we're filming. Yep. We'll see you next week for the Spanish Grand Prix episode.
And it'll be great.
Muy bonito. Muy bonito.
Yeah.
Okay. Deal sign off. Goodbye.
Okie dokie. Till next week.